the thought was that we were going to see a ton of bankruptcies in the energy sector when oil crashed, and we didn't. And part of that was because some of the underlying assets were actually good. Are we to assume then that, like at Toys R Us, there's not a lot of underlying assets that are good at all? Like, where would be the value?
Well, I think it's really the supply channel and the supply chain, because you have the internet, but that's all really part of, as it's been said, it's part of one ecosystem. If someone buys a toy from Amazon or Toys R Us, they're still buying it. If someone buys, a clothing from a retailer or from their online, they're still buying it from that retailer. Brand loyalty has gone down quite a bit among consumers, among the millennials. So I think you need to have a value product that you get good value. Trends are changing, and you need to respond to those trends.
But there is still brand loyalty, I think, to an extent, too, and a brand like Toys R Us, even if it is to liquidate, could be of major interest to a strategic buyer like, right, I don't know, a Children's Place or a Bed Bath & Beyond, brands like that. If Toys R Us were to liquidate and they were to buy the brand name, the intellectual property, that could be of interest, because it is still a very well-known brand name.
Emma, put this in a larger context. Is there a cycle to bankruptcies? And if so, where are we in that cycle right now?
I think that is the million-dollar question, the billion-dollar question, right? I can't answer that. Nobody can. If we could, we'd all be rich. But
that's Perry.
There's absolutely a cycle. The economy is fairly healthy right now, so the distressed supply is really low, which is why something like an iHeart bankruptcy or a Toys bankruptcy is a big deal, because it's making up a lot of the distressed debt right now. So it's, the focus for a lot of major players.
Especially in light of, as you mentioned, CVS, the multiples in M&A transactions are through the roof now. There was a bus company that just sold for 13 times EBITDA, which is just wow. So I think I think there will always be bankruptcies. I think the world, though, is changing a little bit to try to do the out-of-court restructurings, as is in iHeart. But there will be loss of patience if the nominal owner, in iHeart's case, the private equity, doesn't realize that their equity is worthless, and those debt holders who are the fulcrum, who economically own the company, they need to take over.